So we're going to create a snowflake in this video. First up, I'm going to start a sketch on my front plane. Doesn't matter what plane you choose here, but I'm just going to choose the front plane as I've done, and I've opened up a sketch. Okay, so I'm in a sketch. I'm going to turn off the planes because they distract me a little bit, and I want to look straight in at this. So to turn off the planes, I press P. Now to look straight in it, I'm going to press N on my keyboard. N stands for normal to. What we want to do now is select the line tool. It's up here, but you can hit L on your keyboard to get it up a little bit quicker. We're going to drag a line up, and you can see the measurement is just dotted there beside. But to actually change that, I need to hit D on my keyboard for dimension, select the line, and pop a dimension out here. I want this to be a decoration that sits on a Christmas tree. So I want that decoration to be about 70 millimeters tall. So I'm going to make this 35 because what I'm creating here is just one branch of a snowflake. This here will be the center of the snowflake, and so the branch is going to be dotted all the way around that center. So 35 millimeters high should give me a 70 millimeter roughly snowflake by the end of it. Next up, what I want to do is go back to my line tool and draw a couple more lines. So I'm going to draw the smaller branches that are coming off of this. And you can see here it's snapping onto parallel. You see there where the previous line has gone yellow? That means that it's going parallel. So that's a nice feature to have. But if you don't make it parallel, and you've finished the line already and you still want to make it parallel after the fact, you can always select the three lines that you want to be parallel and press B on your keyboard. So B for Ben, and that means parallel. You'll also find the parallel feature just up here. So next up, I'm just going to move these lines up a little bit, make it look a little bit more dainty, a bit more evenly spaced out. And once I've done that and I'm happy enough with my positioning, I'm going to go ahead and try create this to be a bit more bubbled, because at the moment what we've got is individual lines. So I want those to be bubbled. Sorry, I digress. What I should have done actually was mirror these across. So I've got them only made in the right hand side. First up, I want to mirror these across. So we're going to use some axial symmetry. In this Onshape program, it's called mirroring. So I hit the mirror feature and it says select the mirror line. I'm going to choose the mirror, the center line here to be the mirror line. So I click it, and then all of the ones that I had highlighted get sent across to the left. I'm finished with that, so I'm going to deselect the mirror feature, and now I'm going to go back for that slot feature I was talking about. So the slot feature is underneath the offset feature here. So I'm going to select under offset and hit slot. Once I hit slot, you can see that it's now thickened them. Now, if your one ends up looking like this, it is because usually the default is 20. Somehow I got lucky there and it became 3 millimeters automatically for me. And 3 millimeters is what I want here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this at a 3 mil acrylic at the end on the laser cutter. So we're going to just left click our mouse when we're happy with the slot. Right, next up, what I want to do is extrude this. So I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to change that extrude thickness to be 3 millimeter. Now we've still got pieces missing. When I hit, sorry, after hitting N while I was still on the depth, I'm just going to hit space here, and now I'm going to hit N to look straight in at this object. So N on my keyboard, it's not working for me actually. I'm just going to hit the front feature there, and then it pops up. So you can see that it is selected some parts but not all. So I have to go around and individually select each of those to make sure that they get added in. I'm going to zoom down, keep selecting the rest of them, pan down and select the rest. Okay, so we're still at 3 millimeters. I'm happy with that. We've got the central branch. What we now want to do is we want to populate it around the spot at the bottom, this origin. So what we're going to go for is circular pattern. So it's across the top here underneath linear pattern. So circular pattern is just here. First up, it says entities to pattern. Entities is a fancy word for things. So we're going to hit this thing here, the branch. And the axis of pattern is a little bit more complicated. The axis of pattern, we want it to be this origin, but it doesn't let you select the point. It always has to be an edge. So if I check that edge there, you can see that it would pattern around, but it wouldn't give it right on center. So that's not a proper snowflake. So I'm going to deselect that one. If I hit this line, we'd end up with like a Christmas tree effect almost. But again, not what we're looking for. Instead, I wanted to pattern around this kind of rounded area here. So I can actually hit select make connector, this little pizza slice kind of thing here. I'm going to select that, I'm going to go down to the bottom surface, and when the pizza slice is just sitting there in the middle of that circle, we're going to select that area. And now it populates around the origin nicely. Next up, what I want to do is change the number of instances. So the instant count is how many branches we're recreating. I'm going to hit 6 there, and now I'm happy enough with that to look at, I think. But remember, I'm going to be laser cutting this, and at the moment I've got 6 individual parts. So I got to go back into circular pattern because I've done something wrong. I was on new. I wanted to be on add. Adding the feature means that they all get merged together, so they're all glued together. So just so you see that again, we were on new, and we were getting 6 different parts. I want to be on add. It says merge, I'm going to hit merge with all, because it's the only part that's sitting in there. Now, I'm happy again, I'm going to press OK. If you're not happy with the shape of your snowflake and you want to still change it, it's not too late. You can go back into Sketch 1. If you hit final, you'll see the changes as they're happening in live time. So I'm going to select this, for example, if I want it to be a little bit closer and to marry together a little bit better. I'm just going to drag that, see if I can get a bit more uniformity. So you could drag any of these and you'd have an effect on kind of like a butterfly effect. You'll be seeing what's happening later on in your sketch. Anyway, I'm happy enough with that for now. But if this is to be a decoration, I need to be able to hang it. In order to hang it, I need it to have a hole. Now, that hole needs to be at least 2 millimeters thick if I'm to thread something through it. Anything smaller than that, we're going to have a struggle threading it through. So, if this here is 3 millimeters wide and 3 millimeters thick, this really isn't thick enough for me to be putting a 2 millimeter hole. I'd only be left with 0.5 millimeter of an edge around, and I can't trust that that's going to hold. So what I want to do with just one of these branches is create a donut of sorts, a hole in the center and a larger disc around the outside here. So I'm going to choose this top surface again, and I'm going to press new sketch. I'm going to look straight in at it, so hitting N on my keyboard for normal 2. I'm going to zoom right in here. This time I'm going to go up to the circular feature. So we're using the circular pattern, and I want to find the center point of that arc. So by hovering over this, I haven't clicked anything yet, but by hovering over it and then going to where the center should be, it snaps onto the center of it. What I want to do is draw 2 circles, one on the outside and again one on the inside, same center points. What I want is a 3 mil thickness between these two. So I want the center one to be, oh sorry, I'm still on my circle tool, so hit escape, sorry. And I want to go to dimension, so D on your keyboard now for dimension. It's late, apologies, making lots of mistakes here. So I'm going to choose that center circle, and I want that to be 2 millimeters for thread and thread through. The distance between these 2 circles, however, I want that to be, let's say, 2.5 millimeters, I'd say we'd get away with. Now, might not look the May West after this. Maybe you're not too happy. I'm just going to actually scale it up a little bit more. Why not go for 3 mil? We'll have a bit more strength. So that at the moment is still just a sketch, as you can see. I need to still extrude this and remove the hole from the center. So first up, let's extrude. So I'm going to extrude here. What I want to do is select the donut. Okay, now I can select this donut here on the screen, but it would only select this part of it. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to float over here to sketch 2. Hit sketch 2, and now we're getting the full donut extruding. It's going the wrong way automatically, so I want to reverse it by hitting that arrow or this one here. So they do the same job. And what I wanted to do is only extrude up to this face here. Okay, I want it to be dynamic because maybe in the future I want to print this out of 3 or 5 mil acrylic. So what I want to do is create a dynamic measurement so that I don't have to be coming back into this sketch. I can just change the original extrude to 5, and this one will also copy it. So here, instead of a blind measurement, we're going to use an up to face measurement. Up to face means that you get to select where it ends. So I want it to end on this surface here, this face, as Onshape is calling it. And now you can see it's ending there, which means if I wanted to change this to 5mm later, I'd go back in here, change this to 5, and automatically that circle will update. That makes sense? Anyway, I don't want to do that. So the only thing I've left to do on this before it's a finished design is I want to make that hole through there. So I'm going to unhide this sketch because when I use it, it automatically gets hidden. Now I'm going to go to extrude. I'm going to hit remove this time. And I'm going to try select the center of that circle. So now it's going blind through 25mm. Again, I don't want that to be a blind feature because maybe I changed the dimension to being ridiculously big later. So we're going to hit the up to face thing again. It's just good design practice to do this. I'm going to choose that rear face. Now it's cutting through there. So we've got a hole through our piece. We've got a nice sturdy top to it. And that's pretty much ready to export. So how do we export? To export, what we do is select, we don't select the face. First up, we turn off all sketches. So turning off the sketches is really important because as you can see here, when I select this, it doesn't select this area. And that's because it's seeing this sketch as being a boundary. But if I hide that sketch and that sketch isn't visible, and now I select that face becomes entirely selectable. That face there is what I want to export as a 2D drawing. So I'm going to right click and press export as DXF. Once you hit this, your one, if it's the first time you've ever exported a document, will be set to DWG. Please change that to DXF. It's a better file type for using CorelDRAW with. Next up, I want to name this. So I'm going to call it Snowflake Mr. Tag. So what I'd like you to do is name it Snowflake and your own name so I know whose it is when it's cut out. Last thing you want to do is just double check that your workspace units are correct, that they're set to millimeters, and then hit export. Once you've done that, it will have downloaded as a DXF. A DXF is a 2D file. What I end up doing is I end up just dragging it in to CorelDRAW, this program here, which is currently opening. Just going to drag it over so you can see it. So this here is CorelDRAW. And what I'm going to do is be dragging each of your drawings into CorelDRAW. Once I bring them in, they appear like that. And I then just choose what material to cut it out of. But that's not for you to do. But what you do have to do is put your files into the correct spot. So what I want you to do is open up your classroom and drag and drop this file into the Google Drive that I've shared with you. So I'm not going to show you how to do that because I don't want to have your Google Classroom posted up on YouTube, if that's okay. But just dragging and dropping that into that Google Drive that I've shared in the Google Classroom will be great. Thank you.